Hello, everyone, and welcome to this next segment in the 9 Pillars of Influential Communication. Now, usually this goes out live at 6 a.m. Perth time. I'm going to be in Melbourne, and I will be busy at that time on Tuesday. So I'm pre-recording this, but it will be scheduled to go up at that time. So I'll give you a heads up that this is a recorded one. So we're talking about the 9 pillars of influential communication. So far, we've looked at purpose and we've looked at the person that you're speaking to. So why is it you're speaking and who is it you're speaking to? Now, I want to build on that second one in particular today, because the who are you speaking to is critical when it comes to languaging what your message is. I mean, we touched on this quite a bit last week. But I want to continue that because you're out to show transformation. With your talk, you're out to show the transformation of where your audience is at the moment and where they want to be. So this is the pain bit, if you like. This is where I'm stuck. This is where I really don't want to be. And this is where I do want to be. So knowing who your person is, and if you remember last time, I was suggesting that you niche it right down to that one person. Give them a name. Give them an identity. And get inside their skin. How is it they're thinking? Because once you've got that thinking bit, you know the language they're using to describe this stuck bit. I do not like it here. Using their words, and this is the most important bit, which is why that knowing who your person is so important. Because if you can use their words to describe this, for want of a better way of describing it, pain point, this is where I'm at right now. I do not like being here. How are they describing that? Their words, not yours. Now, for a lot of people, the concept of an avatar is them a few years ago. So this is where you go, well, I know exactly what they're thinking. Careful, because you're coming to it from this position and they are still over here. Now, in that time, yes, you've gone through your transformation, which is what you want to share with them. But in that time, I would suggest also that your language has changed. Okay, so you are going to have to go back in time, get back in your time machine and inhabit that avatar as you were then, if that in fact is your avatar, you a few years ago. How were they / you then describing, what they really didn't like? What were their pain points? And then what they're actually describing, yes, and then extrapolate from there. Show what's going to happen if nothing happens. Because the thing is, we don't stay still. If we don't make a change from this stuck position, it doesn't stay still. It goes backwards. It gets worse because it takes so much longer to get over the inertia than if you start moving now. When's the best time to plant an acorn tree, an oak tree, apple tree, any tree? Well, 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Now. Because if you take action on this pain point now, you're going to save yourself a whole heap of extra work than if you leave it for another year or however long you take to do it. So the point is that when you've worked out what the major stuck point is, how they're describing it, think about the ramifications. Think about what that means in other areas of life. Let me give you an example. You're an author and you are reluctant to get onto stages to talk about your book. That, I'm shy. I lack the confidence. I don't want to be Tony Robbins. I can't be Tony Robbins. I don't want to do public speaking. If you stay where you are, what's going to happen? Your book doesn't sell. your programs don't sell, you end up with negative cash flow, you end up going back to finding a job, which is what you left in the first place, to be this coach and this entrepreneur. And can you see what I mean? Show how not moving from this pain point is going to impact moving forward, because let's face it, you're not moving forward. So it's not a case of status quo. It's not a case of staying where you are. It's a case of actually drifting backwards. So that's when you've identified the pain point, how they're describing it, and again, using their words, how you would then language all those bits around it. What are the ramifications? What are the consequences of not taking action? Now, then you take them to the other side of the transformation that you offer. Again, because you know this person so well, you have the language that they are using to describe where they want to be. What's it going to look like on the other side of your transformation? Really dig into that and share with them, excite them about their own vision for where they want to go. And as you did with the pain point, magnify it. Think about all the potentials that could be as a result of getting yourself on stages. You're in front of a lot more people. You don't have to be Tony Robbins. Please don't be Tony Robbins. He does him very well. You do you. But you can get onto podcasts. You can share your wonderful book, your program, your service with so many more people. When you have that confidence to do a podcast, or a few of them, lots of them, you can then think about being comfortable enough to do virtual summits. Suddenly you're seen by a lot more people as the expert that you really are. That's on the other side of you taking this action now. Can you see where I'm going with this? You've magnified the problem. You've shown people this is where we're going. If you let me come along with you, in fact, I will take you there. Now, yes, you could probably get there on your own. As one of my friends says, do you want to take the freeway or do you want to take the back roads? Are we going fast, or are you meandering along on your own sweet way and taking far longer than you needed to? And again, that's what you're showing your audience when you're speaking. Where are they at? Where do they want to be? You show them what Pleasure Island, if you will, is going to be like for them. You know them so well. You know what their drivers are. You know what's going to really excite them. And again, it's not purely, I've gone from this point to this point. It's all the other wonderful things that are going to happen as a result. So you magnify that. You, for want of a better word, future pace them. What's it going to like? And you dig into the feelings on both sides, the emotional rich language. How does it feel to be in that awful stuck position? What are those literal feelings? Have you got heart palpitations every time you think about going on stage? What's it going to feel like when you feel that comfortable level, that familiar level, the level that goes, I'm doing this for my audience, that peace, that yes, you're a bit nervous, or what I call excitemus, halfway between the nerves and the excited, but it's poles apart from where you were. And you've got that sense of, I've got this. And not only have I got this, you are seeing that you are making a real impact. You're making a difference to the lives of the people that you're talking to. And I can tell you, there's no greater drug. If you want a dopamine high, this is it. It really is so exhilarating once you've got there. And that's the excitement that you are going to share from your stage, be it podcast, virtual summit, live stage, when you are sharing your message, when you have taken your audience using their words from their pain point over the bridge of your solution to their gain, their pleasure island. Okay. Now, I trust this has helped you in distilling why it's so important to have your person organized. Some people prefer not to think about a single person in terms of an avatar, but they prefer to think of a pain problem. And that's their avatar, if you will. It will be a single pain point. And that could be something that you want to focus on. It could be confidence. And that confidence can show up in any number of different situations. You see, there's a very slightly different way of looking at it, but the same thing runs true. You need to know how people are languaging that particular stuck point. It's the language here that's really critical. How are they describing it? How are they describing it? What's the change? What do they want to see in their words? Go and have some fun with this. That avatar document that I mentioned last week, I trust you've written it down. Go and inhabit that person's skin. Really think, feel into them. And I mean feel. Don't just rely on the head bit. Sink down into the heart of your ideal person. Whether you're looking at the ideal person from a demographic or a pain point. Still want you to think about that one person. How can you magnify where they're at and where they want to be, and show the contrast, show the value that you are bringing by taking them over that bridge? Feels like I've labored a point. I trust this has gone in now, because it's really important that you know your person or your pain problem and focusing on that in their words. Okay? My invitation to you from here is to really feel into it and write down the language, word for word. How is it they're feeling about this? And go through those emotional words. Where in their body are they feeling it? What are the emotions that are involved? Same on the other side. Get that written down so that you can then focus on using those emotionally rich words, describing things from a visual perspective, an auditory perspective, a kinesthetic perspective, if there's any smells involved, if there's any tastes involved, all that wonderful sensory information, so that your audience inhabits what you're saying. They can put themselves in the shoes of what you're saying. Go and have some fun with this. And next week, I think I'm going to be back live. If not, I'll do another recorded version. Anyway, have fun. See you next week. Bye from me.